Welcome in to Olympic Ice post quarterfinal day at the Olympics. Nick Burt, Matt Merrifield. In the words of the great Elliot Friedman, I need a cigarette. How are you doing tonight, Matt?
I can't say I have to turn to nicotine to settle myself down after the hockey that I witnessed this afternoon. Um, but as you said pre-show, Nick, this is why we do it. Today is one of the great days of hockey, and we talked about it yesterday. I mentioned how today was going to be what we've been waiting 12 years for, and it more than delivered. I have one complaint: the 6 a.m. game should have been at 7 a.m. Like, there was too big of a gap. As I texted you this morning, there was too big of a gap. First off, I tried waking up at 6 a.m. It wasn't meant to be. Plus, the broadcasters were terrible for the 6 a.m. broadcast. It just was all around not a good experience. I went back to bed. Also, Germany just didn't have the horses. But otherwise, starting with the noon game or the 10:30 game on through, beautiful to watch. Playoff hockey, 3 game sevens, 3 overtime finishes. Just incredible. It was everything we had dreamed of, and Gary Bettman somehow keeps falling up. He keeps doing it. Hockey keeps falling up, even though they try to not do the best they can. They keep stuffing games on USA, and they keep putting crap broadcasts together. They keep doing terrible marketing, and yet here we are with incredible hockey and people, I think, paying attention. I guess we'll find out, but what a day. Glory be.
100% glory be there. Hey, I think people are paying attention. I saw somewhere that the ratings for the U.S. group stage games were like the highest since the 2002 Olympics in Salt Lake City, which that was a completely different time for television. So that seems to be a positive for hockey. We'll obviously see what the numbers end up being here for the quarterfinals and then the semis and eventually the final. But overall, a incredible day, minus one thing, which we'll get into, that truly may be the end of civilization, if we're honest. But let's start out 6 a.m. It was Germany, Slovakia. We said yesterday in the preview, this was going to be the closest game. This feels like the most evenly matched. It's going to be like a 1-goal game, maybe gets out to 2 or 3 because of empty net goals. Slovakia rolls here, 6-2. They were always in control of this game. Germany never really felt like they had a shot. The question we also had going into today, and it was for all 4 games, was the rest versus rust. Spoiler alert, all the teams that were on a bye got a victory today. But that does not mean it was close or, far away like this game was, and Germany was just outmanned, outmatched, all that fun stuff. Matt, Slovakia just absolutely rolled in this one.
Yeah, Slovakia has continued to be the story of the tournament. I guess the team taking over and taking everybody by surprise. And obviously, so it starts with Slavkovsky, but just up and down the lineup, the experience that they've had from players that have been in the Olympics before, goaltending that has come out of nowhere. With all due respect to Hawaii, I think is how you say it. I think mid is even putting it nicely. AHL goaltender at 42nd or in mid 40s in save percentage and goals against, and somehow he has been absolutely tremendous. And there's not much else to say for how Samuel Hawaii has been absolutely tremendous. A 932 save percentage, a 267 goals against, and here Slovakia is with an opportunity to medal. Now, can they get done against the United States? We'll have to wait and see. But just a stellar performance, and I guess we overvalued the top-end talent of Germany because their depth just was the difference. So Slovakia, from top to bottom, is a lot closer. Their first forward and their 12th forward are a lot closer than it is for Germany, which, as we all know, it's a team game, and that was the downfall for the Germans in this game.
Yeah, I think one of the big things, honestly, that I took away from this one was just Leon Draisaitl kind of just felt like nowhere to be found. I know he got an assist on the first goal, to make it 4-1. But Slovakia just found a way to shut them down today. And like you said, top to bottom, Slovakia is much closer than Germany's top to bottom. Overall, though, again, I'm kind of just shocked that it ended up getting out to that big of a scoreline. Again, I truly thought this game was going to be closer. Slovakia keeps running, though. We'll see how it plays out for them in the semis. We'll obviously get into that later, but there's a chance this team could make the gold medal game.
I don't want to get that far ahead. I mean, will you compare the game against the United States? Yes. But the United States, I feel really good about the United States after today's game. That's all I'm going to say, Nick. We can talk about it more because of the last game we're going to talk about in terms of the recap. And I know we're going to go into our preview for the semifinals tomorrow, but I'm just saying that it's going to be two great hockey games because I think Finland is going to give Canada fits, and Slovakia, the United States can't look ahead, obviously, and that's what Slovakia has been doing all along. It's just doing their thing, kept catching people by surprise. And does Hawaii have one more performance in them to keep this team afloat for a guy with an 884 save percentage this year and a 333 goals against in the AHL? I can't believe this guy is going to have an opportunity to play for a medal and be part of a big reason why. And the last thing, too, about Slovakia is actually some of their depth actually stepped up today. And Slavkovsky only had the 1 point, and that was on the empty netter to seal it. Pavel Regenda, Sharks legend, Futures Teal, 2 goals today. I was waiting for him to pop off. I thought he would have been more important because he's been playing really well for San Jose this year. He's been fun to watch, super fast. So to see him actually put a good performance together today was fun to see. So the Slovaks keep coming, and hey, we have 4 very quality teams playing for a medal, all well more than deserved.
Totally agreed. Let's move on. Our second game of the day. You were about to host this show alone tonight, Matt, if things went wrong here, and they very, very much came close to. Canada 4, Czechia 3 in overtime. I don't.
I'll let you drive the bus here. Go for a drive.
Wow. I was questioning myself. Why do we do this? This is the stupidest thing ever. What is the point of life, basically? That really started to come into question in the second period when Crosby got injured. We'll know more tomorrow. I think we may be screwed. I'm hoping not, but I'm preparing for the worst. We're screwed. Give the C to Celebrini. We'll figure it out. I don't know how we won this game, honestly. Puck luck was awful in this game. They hit like 5 posts in the second period alone, it felt like. The third period, the go-ahead goal for Czechia, it didn't matter in the end. They had 8 players on the ice. Great job, refs. I'm really glad you couldn't notice that there were 8 players on the ice. And then Nick Suzuki ties it up late. And then I believe it was between the Suzuki tying goal and when Czechia went ahead. Matt, do you want to read off the text that I sent to you? Most importantly, that ended up featuring in the overtime.
Let's see if I can find the text from overtime.
I mean, if you need me to read it, I will read it. But
go ahead, because we texted quite a bit from the end of the Canada game, considering we had a whole USA game to text through.
That is true. This was at 12:51 p.m. So this is prior to overtime. This is prior to them tying. I texted you. At some point, we have to ask, what the fuck does Mitch Marner do? Well, what does he do? overtime, 90 seconds into overtime. 1-on-3. Finds the back of the net. I don't even know if he was trying to shoot for the net or what, because he was still spamming the controller and just hitting buttons, and the puck ends up in the back of the net.
I would like to point out, Nick, do you know who the last line of defense was for Czechia on that play?
I don't. I did
text you this when I saw the replay.
Okay.
Who is one of the defensemen I was very wary of being an important piece of the back line for Czechia in this tournament?
Was it Radim Sidek?
Yes.
Okay.
He was the one waving a stick like a magic wand as Marner backhanded upstairs and won the game, among with two other Czech players. I don't know who else was on the ice, but it was just a disaster class of letting Mitch Marner walk through you and then your soul and tell you to pack for Nice in 4 years. You know what? Congratulations to Mitch Marner. Is it Toronto's fault? Is Mark Stone right? I don't know. Great comment. All-time quote right there from Mark Stone, as much as I hate him and his balding head. But all I know is Tomas Hertl set up that game to even go into overtime. But ignore the fact that there were 80,000 players on the ice for the Czechs.
This is true. Did you see Brandon Hagel's comment post-game?
I did not. Please enlighten me.
On Mitch Marner. I thought he wasn't a big game player. He just showed the world. Guys, the quarterfinal it's a big game. It's not a truly big game, though. But let's calm down here. Let's see what he does in the semis, and God willing, if we get to the gold medal game, let's see what he does there. But Binnington had some moments, both very, very good moments and very bad.
It's the Jordan Binnington experience. That's what you have to ride. You ride or die with it. You have to. Because unlike another goaltender in overtime, he made a big save to keep the game alive, if I'm not mistaken, to set up even Marner scoring that goal. Meanwhile, you have a Mickey Mouse goaltender between the pipes for you. We'll get to him in a few minutes. I still take Binnington over any goalie. Wow, Saros has played really well this since game one. Saros has figured his shit out, and Hawaii has been. I don't know who I would take. I know who I wouldn't take of the four goalies remaining, and it's the one that plays for my team. But congratulations, no upset for you, Czechia. You've slayed the Czech Dragons, and
I mean. Barely, just barely, we slay the Dragons. Obviously, the biggest issue right now is Sidney Crosby. That is a guy that does not go out because he's injured. Like, if he can still play, he's going to be out there. The fact he went back to the locker room and just never came back, I think it's over.
Do you think it's over, or just over for the tournament over?
That's a good question.
I'm just saying, I don't want to put that out there, but could you imagine if that was the last time he ever touched the ice? I don't think it is.
I'm not saying retirement over. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm asking. If it was over, this is, Grandpa goes out to pasture. He is 38 years old. He's no spring chicken.
There's people talking about him playing in 4 years.
That's not happening.
I don't think so either.
Actually, you know what? They should send him and keep Connor Bedard home. Bedard can come in 2034.
No, he's going to play the Mark Stone role in 2034. Or 2030, sorry. Crosby.
Good Lord.
I don't know. I'm obviously hoping for the best, but I think his tournament's probably done. And that is absolutely awful to say. But it's nice that I have an excuse now if they don't win the gold.
They don't. There's no excuse. Missing 38-year-old Sidney Crosby when you still have the three best players in the world on your hockey team, maybe even playing on the line together, which this injury probably ruins that. That's probably my biggest heartbreak over this is they probably won't play together anymore because Crosby can't be on the line by himself. Well, by himself. But Anyways, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah. We're apparently finding out tomorrow that, sure, that doesn't sound great at all, but I guess we'll see. Let's move on. Our third game of the day, which puck drop was, I think, at some point in the third period of the Canada game. So I did not see about half of this game. Finland comes back from being 2-0 down against Switzerland, wins 3-2 in overtime. Like I said, I did not see the two Switzerland goals. It was basically saw overtime. Mitch Marner becomes who knows what and scores. And then at some point you say, do you know the score of the other game? And that's like right when I flipped it over and I saw it was 2-0. I'm like, okay then. So we may be right about Switzerland here. And that just didn't happen. They fall apart basically after I turn it on. Finland find a way to win. Sebastian Aho, Miro Heiskanen, and Arturi Lehkonen are your goal scorers for Finland, and they move on to the semifinals where they will take on Canada. I don't even know if you saw the two Switzerland goals, but what's your biggest takeaway here?
I also did not see the two Switzerland goals. I turned on the game at the end of the second intermission, where the color commentator proceeded to tell people, if you unless you like boring hockey, do not watch this game. Okay, that's a great way to get people excited about this one. Thanks, appreciate it. Turned it off. Canada happens. Motorcycles, cocaine, helicopters, overtime hockey. Turned the game back on. 2-0 Switzerland. Commentators still stink. And I mean, it was. I mean, the game was as advertised. It was a grinded out two teams that play similar styles, and I mean, I'll give Finland a lot of credit. They didn't quit. They were able to grind out 2 goals. They may not have the flash to score. Like it comes down to the Canada game. If they want to get into a shootout with Canada, they're going to lose. They don't have that type of talent. But when it comes down to it, to find a way to score 2 mucky goals to keep their tournament alive, they're a hell of a team to beat. So they're going to be a tough out again on Friday. Saros kept a minute. I got to make sure I get this guy's name right. The goaltender for Switzerland, Leonardo Giannoni. Tremendous performance. The broadcasters were surprised that Schmid didn't play, as if Giannoni didn't play almost every game in the tournament to this point and played extremely well and played well again today. Just a disappointing loss, obviously, for Switzerland because they did play well enough to play for a medal. Just unfortunate they had to play a Finn team that was just as good. Like, truly, the best team today that lost was Switzerland. Unfortunately, there were just 4 teams on the ice today that were better, and then, more importantly, Finland was better.
Yeah, and like I don't even feel like it took like some, miracle for Finland to come back and score with a minute left to send it to overtime. They just, at least when I was watching, they looked like the better team. That's not a knock on the Swiss. They still looked good, but the Finns just looked like they had more talent on the ice. Listen, out of the teams you could possibly play in the semifinals, the Finns are whatever. They're middle of the pack. It's going to be a disaster on Friday at 10:40 a.m. When we have to do this again. And I don't want to, be at work when Finland go up 1-0 and it's a disaster and all bad things are happening. But we'll leave the preview for not now. But overall, Finland, I kind of deservedly move on. And we'll see where that goes. Matt, you get to drive the bus now here. USA 2, Sweden 1 in overtime. Take the wheel.
I don't even know where to begin because there's so many things I need to say. There's like 3 big things that have to get done. So I guess we'll start. Do you want me to start with the positives or the positive, Well, there's 4 things: 2 positives, 2 negatives. What should I start? Positive or negative? I'm thinking
We're
negative.
optimistic here. Let's do the positives.
We're gonna start with the positive. Well, first positive, you won. You didn't lose to the Swedes. You're playing for a medal. You have an opportunity to medal, which was the floor, was to make it to the semifinal game for this tournament. Really, the floor was make it to the gold medal game. I'm not going to sit here and say it was a successful tournament. Should they lose to the Canadians? Obviously, that's the goal here, is to win gold. But it's not black and white. There's no six. It's like March Madness. If you didn't win the national championship, doesn't mean your season was a failure. But also, there are levels to this. Anyways, congratulations, you beat the Swedes, and you actually played well. I thought from the portions I missed, like a little bit of the second period, but for the most part, I thought the Americans dominated most of that hockey game. The first period, it was the United States putting a ton of the pressure on. Sweden did have responses, as you would expect them to do with the amount of talent they have on that team. But the Americans, I thought, were the better team for the 64 minutes of hockey that were played in that game. And overtime, the U.S. shut the water off. I mean, Sweden didn't have a shot on goal in overtime, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was like 8-0 in shots. It was just a matter of time until, more importantly, the first shift he was on the ice, Quinn Hughes had 2 chances, and you just knew at some point he's going to get another chance here, and he's probably not going to miss. And he didn't. He played extremely well, as he has all tournament. Jack Hughes continued to play well. The only person I didn't love the way they played today, well, of the important players, Jack Eichel. I thought he was soft today, which is uncharacteristic for him, because he was really good last year in 4 Nations, and he's been solid so far in this tournament. But of the important people on the United States, I thought he was the only one that I was left wanting more out of. So it's kind of the positive side of things. The negatives. Nick, would you like to guess who was on the ice for that game-tying goal?
Well,
there's 2
I
correct
know
answers.
I sent you a tweet from Butcher Gross.
Oh, so, I forgot you're the one that sent me this tweet. Yes.
I'm assuming it was Trocheck and Miller. Is what you're
Trocheck, Vincent Trocheck, and JT Miller. I had people try and tell me the reason, not just you, not just my father, other people, pretty much everybody I bring it up to has tried to tell me the reason they're there is to play defense, not get scored on, and kill penalties. Those last 90 seconds are why the fuck they're there. Now, I have also happened to agree with Butcher Gross on this rare occasion where why are they even on the ice in the final 90 seconds of a game? Now, in John Sullivan's mind, or Mike Sullivan's mind, they're supposed to be out there because that's why they're there. Unfortunately, they shouldn't be there. I don't know how many times we have to go over this. They should not be at the Olympics. They are not Olympic-level hockey players for the United States of America. We have better players that can do what they do, because what they do, they don't even do it very well. Clearly. So don't get scored on. Also, between the pipes, Hellebuyck played well, I guess. I don't know. I still don't like the way he plays. I don't think he tracks the puck well at all, because on that game-tying goal, I wish we have like a graphic, Nick, where I could draw this out on the screen for people. I guess I could have done it in advance. Whoever had the primary assist, I guess I can pull up the box score to see who had the primary assist on the goal. I think it was Nylander who made the pass across. I feel like it was. I know it was a right-handed shot. Point being, they're at the top of the right circle, so on Hellebuck's left, on his glove side. They're walking in. There is a defenseman at the top of the zone in the middle. There's a guy, the eventual goal scorer, Zibanejad, who's on the left circle. I'm looking now. It was Mason Raymond walking in who made the pass across. There were 3 bodies in front of the net. Everybody. So there's a guy up top, guy in the left circle, guy in the right circle with the puck, Lucas Raymond. 3 guys in front of the net. Raymond, his hips, his eyes, everything were pointing at Zibanejad. I know there was a partial screen. How did Hellebuyck not know that puck was going there? Everybody and their grandmother knew where that puck was going, and he was somehow late. At least get there. I would have been there. Would I have made the save? Probably not. I'm not going to act like I would have made that save, but I would have been there. Probably would have snuck through. But he was late. How are you late on that? He saw Raymond at the top. It's not like he was completely screened all the way through, because he did eventually push over. He was just late and didn't read it. How he didn't read that, I don't know. Which, once again, is probably the reason I just don't like him. I just don't like Connor Hellebuyck. I don't care that he's the local kid. He's not the best American goaltender, and we've been fooled by the nonsense of the style of play that the Winnipeg Jets have played for the last 4 years to believe that this guy is actually the best goaltender in the NHL, and he's not. He's also not the best player to be born in this 50 states that are combined into one union. So that's all I got. We're playing. Who are we playing? The Slovaks. I don't care.
Yes.
We beat Sweden in the Olympics. All that matters. Quinn Hughes wanted to be a hockey player. Just win. I don't even care. I think they're going to play well on Friday. I don't think it'll be as close on Friday, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Not that it won't be close. I want to say it's going to be a blowout, but it'll be a different type of game, I think. But whatever. We won. It's all that matters. USA, Freebird, bald eagle noises. Yeah.
Wow. It seems like you don't want to give credit to our beautiful state of Michigan for basically getting the U.S. the win today here with Connor Hellebuyck in net, Dylan Larkin scoring the first goal, and of course Quinn Hughes scoring the game-winning goal, all from Michigan. So, hey, it is what it is. That's why we are a hockey state. But, hey, people want to tell us we're not. U.S., hey, I'm not going to say it feels lucky that they won this game. They kind of controlled it the whole way through.
Hey, let's not throw stones at glass houses here, because the Canadians also controlled most of the game. I'd argue they controlled less of the game, but continue. Sorry.
Hellebuyck was late, like you said, but again, the Swedes did not get a shot off in overtime. It would not have mattered. We're one step closer to the gold medal game everybody wants, and as we, I guess, have now very much like to say, the lizard people, that's what they want.
I'm telling you. I guess that's my last point, maybe even of the whole episode, of the penalty. I believe did Czechia go up 3-2? Is that when they went up 3-2 and then they called the phantom penalty, or was it when they were up 2-1?
I think it was 2-1.
That penalty, that interference penalty, was woke nonsense, and you can't tell me otherwise. Especially when the replay NBC shows maybe Hagel pushing somebody else in the same frame, doing the same thing, and they blow a whistle on that. Like, I thought they were calling delay a game, which I was like, first off, that ref should have blown the whistle well before that got to that point. Like, correct. That also woke nonsense. Blow the damn whistle. If nobody wants to feel like moving, you're allowed to do that. Just do it. But they call that phantom penalty. Sure shit, Canada scores 2 seconds later because it's the best power play unit of all time, even without Sidney Crosby on the ice. And then we are sitting around, and then, Canada goes on, wins, whatever. Woke nonsense. Moving on. Finland. And I had this thought yesterday after I made my predictions, because I took Slovakia and Switzerland both to win yesterday for today's games. Now, I did think about it this morning. I thought, there's no way, like Slovakia and Germany, there has to be a winner there. So there's no winner in the eyes of NBC. They're just going to have to eat whoever goes. Like, who cares? They're going to want USA. They're going to want Canada. And they're going to want Finland. They're not going to want Switzerland. Finland's got all the NHL talent, or more NHL talent, I should say, compared to Switzerland, who's got the New Jersey Devils top line and a couple stragglers. So they're going to try and make sure Finland wins. Now, Finland came back on their own accord, but I'd just like to think that the lizard people helped influence that game. And then the U.S. was not losing on NBC for their first game. That was Snoop. Like, what was Snoop Dogg going to do if he was on the call for the U.S. blowing a 1-goal lead late in the third period? There's no way they're going to willingly put that together. So, lizard people continue to win. They're today's biggest winners. But you know what? It's going to make for a fun Friday afternoon of hockey. So, I don't know if I'm complaining too much.
That is a great point you bring up about the Snoop thing. Because they had him for the third period. Like, why not just do that?
Yeah, that was such a bad idea.
I'm honestly kind of disappointed I didn't see any of it.
I mean, I guess when they planned this out, they knew the United States would be in the quarterfinal. Like they were going to make sure that the U.S. whatever quarterfinal game they were in, even if they didn't win their group. But like, what if they didn't make the quarterfinal? Would they just have been like, okay, I guess we're going to have to scrap the Snoop Dogg period?
Oh no, we're gonna have him commentate Slovakia and Sweden or Switzerland, any of them, Germany. They're gonna throw him on a random game and have him do the whole game instead of just a period.
I don't know. Him and the Aussie guy could do a great job, better than whoever was calling the Finland game. Unironically, I'm pretty sure the Finland crew also did the morning game, Slovakia and Germany. It sounded similar.
Yeah, it would not surprise me. I can't believe we had to wait 12 years for this. What a quarterfinal we had. I hope we're back in 4 years. People are overreacting, obviously, with Crosby getting injured. I know we'll be back, but still, let's get it figured out. Love that we're doing this. Let's move on here. Gold medal game tomorrow. We at least have to somewhat act like we're talking intelligently here, not show full ass of ourselves, but I think we know enough. USA Canada women's gold medal game tomorrow, 1:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time puck drop. Hydrogen bomb, coughing baby with Marie-Philippe Poulin. That's the best way to put this. This is going to be a disaster, Matt.
I don't think it's going to be that big of a disaster. Like, what is a disaster in your mind? They lose 5-0 again? Because no, that's not going to happen. Or is losing just a disaster?
No, it's losing by multiple goals and just looking absolutely awful all game, which is what's probably going to happen. They barely got past Switzerland.
I think they'll be okay. I think beating a team twice in a week, like it's a gold medal game. Like Canada's going to bring their best. Now, obviously, the United States is still going to bring their best, but like, I think it'll be competitive. Truly, I think it'll be like third period. You will still be watching. You will still be watching down to the final 5 minutes, and then if the United States goes up 3, okay, fine, turn it off. But like, I don't think it'll be that bad. I mean, Czechia. I think the gap between Canada and USA is not as big as Canada and Czechia on the men's side, and anybody else maybe, but not really. I mean, I guess I haven't paid close enough attention, but you can't sit here and tell me that the Americans are that much better. You're acting like they're the 64 to 78 Soviets. Like,
with Canada's roster decision making, they sure look like the Soviets out there. Canada's the oldest team here at this tournament. I believe their average age is like right around 30. They have no young players. I know the U.S. has like 4 or 5, and they've been majorly impactful. Surprise, surprise, Canada has goaltending issues. Where have you heard that before? I'm not expecting much here. I believe it is Arian Frankel that is the goalie for the U.S. Northeastern alum. Shout out the Huskies. But brick wall. I don't know. And yes, Canada didn't have Marie-Philippe Poulin in the group stage game. Does she make a 5-goal difference? I truly don't know. Matt, I truly do think this is kind of a disaster waiting to happen tomorrow, and we're looking at like a 4-1 final.
I'm going to go 5-2, but I don't think it's once again, it's going to be 3-2 with like 10 minutes left. Like, you're going to be engaged in this hockey game. Truly. I would not fret.
I hope so. I would love to be engaged in this game, but I don't know. They haven't done enough for me this tournament for me to believe that they actually kind of have a chance here. Vegas is saying they don't have a chance. I mean, the U.S. is minus 480 in this game, which kind of unheard of when these two play. the U.S. has controlled the rivalry. I don't think Canada has beat them since 2023. I don't know. I'm hopeful. Let's add another gold medal to this Canadian team, but I just don't see it happening. But you never know. The U.S. may just be looking ahead, waiting to get their crown, and then Canada shows up and says, no, it's still our sport. I don't know. I'm just rambling now about hopes and dreams that are probably going to die come 2:15 tomorrow. So we'll wrap it up there. Matt, do you have any final comments here on this quarterfinal Wednesday, pre-gold medal final Thursday?
God bless the sport of hockey. Canada, the USA game, I think, will actually be competitive tomorrow, contrary to your belief. And what a day of hockey we got today. They don't come around. So I hope people, enjoy it and remember it, because it'll be a day that we look back on of 3 overtime finishes. And, it's not always like this. There will be years where it's not. And I was worried we were going to have one of those years where it wasn't. But like I said at the top of the show, Gary Bettman and the sport of hockey somehow always seem to fall upwards. So
that is indeed true. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Olympic Ice. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll preview the semifinals. We'll recap whatever the women's game ends up being, and we'll go from there. So thank you so much for watching. We will see you again tomorrow night here. We're quickly coming to the end of the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milano Cortina. So make sure you click like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'll see you again tomorrow night for another episode of Olympic Ice here on the Nick Burt Sports Network.